Hi everyone, this is Emily Detweiler, and this is my presentation on my action research plan titled Getting a Grip on Handwriting. So just a little background. So I am going for in the ACTE program with a focus in the STEM. I'm graduating this December, so just a few weeks, which is really exciting. I'm also a second grade teacher in the Ephrata Area School District, and this is a picture of my team whom I'm excited to share my research with and see if we can help our students become better with their handwriting. So the purpose behind my research, I was hoping to learn if holding a pencil correctly would affect neatness of handwriting. And I'm always trying to look for better ways to encourage my students, and in one area is with their handwriting. I know I teach second grade, but it's honestly sometimes really a difficult thing to get through and to be able to help my students because they're still learning and still processing different things at their young age. And so, but I see it as a big problem because it can be very illegible and difficult to make out what they write on assignments they complete in class. So I was trying to think, okay, would there be a way to solve this problem? And I wanted to focus on this problem because it really is difficult to read their writing, and my job is to help set my students up for success. And so I feel like handwriting is an important skill that they need to at least be able to show that they know how to write the letters and write the numbers or draw the numbers. So it's a really big deal to me because I am constantly having to call students over to clarify what they wrote on tests and with their writing. I mean, teacher conferences during writing time, that's a struggle. So to all my fellow educators out there, I think you know what I'm talking about, but that's why I decided to choose this type of problem. So my research questions started out very basic and kind of has stemmed into more specific. So it really started with how does handwriting affect student performance? What is the effect of holding a pencil correctly on the neatness of handwriting? And then there are certain ways to hold a pencil that affect handwriting neatness, which is where I really focused on. And I chose 5 main articles to kind of be my backbone of my research. And I know there's a lot of writing on here, I apologize, but I wanted to include them because I really feel that they embodied what I was trying to find and trying to investigate. These 5 main articles that I found really dove into seeing how handwriting affects student performance, and there were different ways to hold a pencil, or looking at different things. And so the biggest article that really helped me with my research was this Tamir article towards the bottom here, because this what he did was he studied a group of first grade students and came across that the grip on a pencil affects the legibility and fluency of handwriting, which really helped me to focus in one area because there could have been many different avenues I went down to see the how if I could improve the neatness in my students' handwriting, but I really felt like this was one area that I could focus on, and so that's kind of how I used this article to stem the rest of my research. I also really enjoyed this Tucha article because if I were to do this again, this would be another area that I'd like to explore, where they talked about focusing on the graphonomics, and which is where just focusing on how to write the actual letters. It's very interesting to see how differently my students write their letters. Sometimes when they're writing a K, they'll write the first line from top to bottom or bottom to top. And so that would be another way for me to ask, okay, is there really a certain type of way that I should be teaching them to write these letters that would help with their neatness in handwriting? So totally for another time, but it's just interesting to see how gathering this information, now that I'm coming up with other ideas, how to better assess this research in another way. So I started off with, what would be a way to collect data to assess this hypothesis, because I honestly had no clue. When I threw this idea out to Ollie and the rest of the class at the beginning of the course, I honestly didn't really know where to go with this. And so as I was doing the research and some fellow educators I follow on social media, I saw a couple who were using pencil grips in their research. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go with it and run with it because I think, that's where I wanted to focus in. Is there a certain way to hold a pencil that could help with the neatness? And so I used thepencilgrip.com as my main area to order my pencil grips, and I chose 3 that were highly reviewed, and I really wanted 3 different type of grips. I didn't want similar grips. I wanted to see if really a certain way of holding a pencil would really affect the neatness. So after I got the pencil grips, I figured out some writing passages that I used from our reading curriculum, that I used for both the pre and the post writing assessment. And I used a lot of observations. I kept a daily journal on my computer of just watching my students, and as I was working with them in small groups, writing down how they were using it, how they were problem solving, how they were not able to use it, and if it was frustrating, which kind of led to some of my findings. The pencil grip had the neatness of the handwriting really depended on on the student, and it was definitely differentiated with each student because I thought that certain types of pencil grips would work for most of my students, where that was completely wrong, and then there were some that were just extremely difficult to use, which really frustrated a lot of my students. So the biggest frustration was the claw grip, which is the picture at the top here. And this was the one that I had quite a few students each week come up to ask me if they could stop using it because they just couldn't remember how to hold it. And they were getting frustrated having to ask me so many times, and they were getting frustrated with themselves because they couldn't remember. And that was not my focus in this research. And I didn't want to frustrate them and make things difficult and make them upset. So I told them that they didn't have to use it. But that was like a really great observation for me because I could tell, okay, this grip is not like the best way for some of my students to use. So of course handwriting did improve in some students. Again, it depended on the student. But I think it really made my students more aware of their handwriting, and it made them realize, oh, I need to slow down, I need to take my time, and I was seeing more pride in their work. I also gave a survey which showed what my students thought of the project. So I'm going to show you some examples. So this is just student A. This was one theme that I recognized in some of my students where it just depended on the pencil grip, where I think 1 or 2 of them may have worked for some of them, but not all 3 helped improve their handwriting. My second theme was that I did see an improvement from at least 2 to 3 of the pencil grips in most of my students, and this is student B, whose handwriting, I have many students whose handwriting looks like this. Their words are close together, the letters are close together, it's very sloppy, borderline sloppy, but this was one theme where I could see that, okay, yes, the pencil grips are making a difference. And then another theme that I saw was I had some students whose handwriting was already very nice, which you can see. These are the pre-assessments at the top here. And so it was kind of difficult to help them improve their handwriting, which was already great. But it's something for me to reevaluate for next time. And then this is some of the results from the survey I gave to my students. So I asked them if they liked each pencil grip, and then did they feel that it improved their handwriting, which a majority of them said yes. And I asked them if it was comfortable or uncomfortable, and that they want more practice, which I thought it was funny that most of them said no. But anyways, I just thought it was great to see into their minds, to see how they enjoyed the project and how they felt if their handwriting did improve. So I really feel that handwriting should be more of a focus in grades K to 2. I think it's really important for our students to know how to write the letters correctly and find a way that's comfortable for them. Not necessarily teaching them one way to hold a pencil, but I think we need to focus in on helping them find a way that's most comfortable. It really helped to differentiate for what best helps my students and gave me data to show why this is important in my classroom, and it provided me with new resources to help support support students who I see struggling with their handwriting. I have a student with a 504 plan who already had this in, so it's great to see that for future students that I can help them. And then I always am trying to think of, are there other ways that I can improve their handwriting? So thanks, guys. I look forward to your comments, and I'm excited to see your research as well.